Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers, welcome back to our channel. The Jewish people are anticipating the coming of their Messiah, the Antichrist or the Dajjal. They are tirelessly striving to spread devastation and cause suffering to the Muslims to hasten the arrival of the Dajjal. However, are you aware that their actions will not yield results until 30 Mini Dajjal already appear on earth prior to the arrival of Dajjal? Abu Hurairah narrated that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "The hour shall not be established until nearly 30 imposters, Dajjal, appear, each of them claiming that he is the Messenger of Allah." How can we determine if these 30 Dajjals, or what we might refer to as 30 Mini Dajjals, have already made their appearance? Is there a list of individuals who have claimed to be prophets? If so, we will be able to determine whether the number of such individuals has exceeded the limit of 30, or if there is still time before the actual Dajjal arrives. Indeed, we possess a list of the Mini Dajjals. While it may not encompass all of them, by examining the known figures, we can speculate on whether the Dajjal's arrival is distant, or if we are the final generation ready to witness his emergence in our lifetime. In today's video, we'll explore the hadith about the 30 false prophets who will appear before the arrival of Dajjal, and we will uncover the names and stories of those who have falsely claimed prophethood in history. So without further delay, let's get into the video. Number 1. Musaylimah al-Kadhab. Musaylimah, referred to as the Liar, hailed from the Banu Hanifa tribe in Yamama. He asserted that he was a prophet while the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was still alive, and even produced a false version of the Quran. He and his companions created various challenges for Muslims and garnered a significant following. He faced defeat in the Battle of Yamama against the Muslim army commanded by Caliph Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu and led by Khalid ibn al-Walid. Number 2. Sajah bint al-Harith. Sajah bint al-Harith was from the Banu Taghlib tribe, and she temporarily claimed prophethood and formed an alliance with her husband, Musaylimah. She was an Arab Christian and played a role in fostering divisions among the Arab tribes. Historians assert that her motivation for declaring herself a prophetess differed from her husband's, as it was primarily a strategic decision aimed at unifying the branches of the Tamim association. She subsequently renounced her claim and reverted to Islam following the execution of Musaylimah by the Muslims. Number 3. Saf ibn Sayyid. This case is quite intriguing. Saf ibn Sayyid, a Jewish Arab boy, was only 12 to 14 years old when he asserted that he was a prophet. This prophethood was not simply a claim driven by political ambitions or other interests. Instead, the boy demonstrated genuine signs of communication with the jinns, who revealed to him the unseen and concealed matters. He exhibited all the traits of a true Dajjal, yet it later became evident that he was merely a mini Dajjal. Abdullah bin Omar reported, Umar bin Ibn Khattab went along with Allah's Messenger ﷺ in the company of some persons to Ibn Sayyid that he found him playing with children near the battlement of Bani Maghala, and Ibn Sayyid was at that time just at the threshold of adolescence, and he did not perceive the presence of Holy Prophet until Allah's Messenger ﷺ struck his back with his hands. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, "Ibn Sayyid, don't you bear witness that I am the Messenger of Allah?" Ibn Sayyid looked toward him and he said, "I bear witness to the fact that you the Messenger of the unlettered." Ibn Sayyid said to the Allah's Messenger ﷺ, "Do you bear witness to the fact that I'm the Messenger of Allah?" Allah's Messenger ﷺ rejected this and said, "I affirm my faith in Allah and His messengers." Then Allah's Messenger ﷺ said to him, "What do you see?" Ibn Sayyid said, "It is a duck." Thereupon Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, "May you be disgraced and dishonored. You would not be able to go beyond your rank." Umar bin Khattab said, "Allah's Messenger, permit me that I should strike his neck." Thereupon Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, "If he is the same Dajjal who would appear near the last hour, you would not be able to overpower him. And if he is not, that there is no good for you to kill him." Surah Dukhan had been sent down by Allah to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ not long before, and when Muhammad ﷺ inquired of Saf ibn Sayyid regarding his vision, Saf ibn Sayyid responded to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that he could perceive dhuk because the jinn he was in communication with could only relay incomplete information regarding the Surah As-Saf. Number 4. Tulayha ibn Khuwaylid. Tulayha ibn Khuwaylid was a wealthy Arab clan chief and military commander during the time of Muhammad ﷺ. He belonged to the Banu Asad ibn Khuzaymah tribe. In 631, Tulayha claimed to be a prophet and the recipient of divine revelation and rebelled against Muhammad ﷺ. He later repented and returned to Islam, fighting valiantly in the battles with the Muslims against the enemies. Number 5. Al-Aswad al-Ansi. Al-Aswad al-Ansi was from Yemen and he proclaimed himself a prophet while Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was still alive. His uprising was brief as he was executed by a companion of the Prophet before the news of the Prophet ﷺ's death arrived in Yemen. Number 6. Al-Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. Al-Mukhtar, a Shia rebel and son of Abi Ubaid, faces accusations of attempting to present himself as a false prophet. Although he did not assert that he was a prophet, he certainly took steps to encourage the perception that he was. He spoke as if he were in the presence of divine wisdom. He asserted that he was a representative of the Mahdi. Following his death, he was posthumously branded a heretic and referred to as Musaylimah the Liar, al-Kadhab. Number 7. Mahmud, son of al-Faraj. In Samarra, Iraq, during the years 849 to 850 CE, a false prophet named Mahmud, son of al-Faraj, emerged, asserting that a Quran had been revealed to him by the angel Jibreel. It has been reported that he has a number of followers in Samarra and Baghdad. He was put to death on the directives of the Caliph al-Mutawakkil. Number 8. Mirza Ali Muhammad, Bab. Mirza Ali Muhammad, who preceded Baha'u'llah and is regarded as another false prophet, initially asserted that he was the Bab, gate to the Mahdi, before progressing to make further claims. The Shaykhis, a Shia sect, embraced him and subsequently altered their name to Babis. He subsequently declared himself the concealed Mahdi of the Shiites. Initially, he declared himself the Mahdi, subsequently adopting the name Nuqtiyullah, and asserted that the Quran and Muslim Sharia had lost their validity. Prior to his execution by firing squad in 1850, Bab faced a series of trials, imprisonments, and humiliations following denunciations from both Shia and Sunni scholars. Number 9. Mirza Hussain Ali Nuri. Mirza Hussain Ali Nuri was yet another deceiver and false prophet who asserted that he was the Bab's rightful heir. Hussain Ali, a prominent member of the Babi group, asserted in 1863 that he was the individual whom the Bab had prophesied would be revealed by God. Furthermore, he established a new religion called the Baha'i Faith and took on the name Baha'u'llah, Glory of God. After his exile from Persia, Baha'u'llah found himself imprisoned in Akka, Palestine. He organized the doctrine of the Baha'i Faith into a structured teaching and published his most significant work, the Kitab al-Aqdas, Most Holy Book. Number 10. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad founded the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam. He asserted that he was divinely chosen as the promised Messiah and Mahdi, fulfilling Islamic prophecies concerning the end times and serving as the reviver of the 14th Islamic century. He claimed to be the Messiah, the Mahdi, a prophet, a messenger, and the second coming of Prophet Muhammad simultaneously. His death was attributed to dysentery, and although some claim it was cholera, he amassed around 400,000 followers, a considerable portion of whom lived in the United Provinces, the Punjab and Sindh at the time of his death. Number 11. Mir Ali Abbas. Mir Ali Abbas was a follower of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Mirza Ghulam authored numerous letters praising Mir Ali Abbas, which led his followers to trust in his sincerity. Mir Ali subsequently departed from the Ahmadiyya sect and claimed prophethood. He also rejected the night journey of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, spoke ill of numerous prophets, and denied many teachings of the Holy Quran. Number 12. Elijah Muhammad. A prominent figure in the Nation of Islam, he asserted prophethood and promoted teachings that were at odds with traditional Islamic beliefs. Elijah Muhammad was a proponent of black separatism and proclaimed himself the messenger of Allah. He faced accusations of involvement in multiple cases of child abuse, which were confirmed by the revelation that nearly 7 to 8 underage girls had become pregnant as a result of his actions. Malcolm X criticized Elijah Muhammad as a religious faker, asserting that his teachings were in conflict with the fundamental principles of Islam. Number 13. Rashid Khalifa. In 1974, Rashid Khalifa, an Egyptian immigrant, asserted that the Quran contains a complex numerical structure centered around the number 19. He dismissed the hadiths of the Prophet and criticized ayats 9, 128, 129 of the Quran, claiming to be a messenger of God alongside Prophets Ibrahim and Muhammad. This led to the establishment of the group known as United Submitters International. He served as the imam at the Tucson Mosque in Arizona for many years before he was ultimately murdered in 1990. Number 14. Karim Aga Khan. Karim Aga Khan emerged as a controversial figure within the Ismaili sect in the early 1970s, proclaiming himself as a representative of God on earth and a messenger of Allah. Number 15. Shabbatai Zevi. Shabbatai Zevi was a Jewish mystic and ordained rabbi from the Ottoman Empire, specifically from Turkey. His family background might have been Ashkenazi or Spanish, and Zevi, prominent throughout the Ottoman Empire, claimed his identity as the foretold Jewish Messiah and founded the Sabbatean movement. He held on to the hope that he could put an end to the widespread persecution of the Jews during that era, yet he was unable to achieve this before his passing. Number 16. Salih ibn Tarif. Salih ibn Tarif served as the second king of the Barghouta kingdom, claiming both prophethood and Mahdihood. He asserted that he descended from the lineage of Ishaq alayhi salam, from which prophethood will persist. He even asserted that he is said to have claimed to be the final Mahdi, and that Isa alayhi salam would be his companion and pray behind him, stating that after him, there would be no other prophet. Salih ibn Tarif considered himself a successor to Muhammad, had 10 Sahaba or personal disciples, numerous wives, and asserted his ability to communicate with the dead and heal the sick. Number 17. Abu Mansur Isa. Abu Mansur Isa was an individual who in his era proclaimed himself a prophet. His prophethood was perceived as a means to acquire political influence or power by leveraging religious sentiments. Historical accounts regarding him are limited, yet similar to other claimants, his declaration was perceived as a direct challenge to the finality of prophethood in Islam. Abu Isa held the conviction that he was the final herald among 5 sent by God to proclaim the soon-to-come arrival of the Messiah. He never claimed to be the Messiah himself, yet he attempted to convince his followers that he was not only a prophet but also the Messiah. His followers believed that he would come back after his death and usher in the end times. Number 18. Al-Harith ibn Sa'd. Al-Harith, the son of Sa'd, asserted his prophethood during the era of the Umayyad Caliph, Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan. He initiated a prophetic movement in the Umayyad Mosque of Damascus during the Caliphate of Abd al-Malik, which later circulated throughout the Caliph's army. Several royal soldiers were believed to be backing him, and when faced with the Caliphate, he escaped from Damascus to start an underground movement in Jerusalem, where he was eventually captured and crucified on a cross in 698 to 699 CE. Number 19. Muhammad, son of Sa'd. Muhammad, son of Sa'd, is recognized as one of the 4 prominent misinterpreters of hadith. He misrepresented the hadith, "I'm the real of prophets and there is no prophet after me," by adding, "unless Allah wills otherwise." By this, he indicated that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was the final prophet. However, Allah has now decreed and altered his command to designate Muhammad ibn Sa'd as the last prophet. He is said to have drawn his own conclusions from this edition and claimed prophethood for himself. He faced execution under the directives of the Abbasid Caliph Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. Number 20. Mahmud Muhammad Taha. Mahmud Muhammad Taha was a Sudanese religious thinker, leader, and a trained engineer. He formulated what he referred to as the second message of Islam, suggesting that the verses of the Quran revealed in Medina were suitable for their historical context as the foundation of Islamic law, implying that they may no longer hold relevance today. In contrast, he argued that the verses revealed in Mecca embodied the ideal and universal religion set for revival when humanity attains a level of development sufficient to actualize them, heralding a renewed era of Islam grounded in the principles of freedom and equality. At the age of 76, he was executed for apostasy due to his religious preaching by the regime of Gafur and Nimiri. Number 21. Jasmine. In 1998, a person named Jasmine appeared in Bosnia, asserting that they were a prophet. He claimed that the Bosnian War represented the Battle of Armageddon and positioned himself as the Messiah, selected by God to guide humanity into a golden age. Jasmine asserted that a lamb represented his destiny. Number 22. Dr. Dwight York. Dr. D. York is an American criminal and convicted child molester, recognized as the founding leader of various black Muslim groups in New York, particularly the Nawabian Nation, a black supremacist new religious movement that has been present in some form since the 1960s. In the 1990s, he transformed his community from the worship of Allah to the worship of pagan idols. Shortly after, he asserted that he received divine revelation, establishing his own group known as the Nawabians, adhering to what they refer to as the Holy Tablets, which encompass beliefs rooted in pantheism and a human-like interpretation of Allah. In 2002, he faced arrest and was charged with child molestation. In 2004, he received a conviction and was sentenced to 135 years in prison. Number 23. Riaz Ahmed Gohar Shahi. Riaz Ahmed Gohar Shahi, hailing from Pakistan, is the founder of the movement known as Rags International, which is also referred to as Messiah Foundation International. He has written numerous Urdu books focusing on spirituality. The most renowned of his works is Deen-e-Ilahi, the Religion of God. The teachings of Shahi have faced condemnation from the Pakistani government, as well as opposition from Muslim religious leaders and certain mainstream Islamic theologians, both within Pakistan and internationally. He faces accusations of asserting himself as a prophet and attempting to incorporate elements into Islam that do not belong to it. Up until now, we have discussed nearly 23 claimants of prophethood, and it is clear that they all fall under the category of false prophets. These 23 individuals are noted in history for their false claims. It is possible that there are others who also claimed prophethood but went unnoticed or failed to attract a significant following. The list we discussed certainly suggests that the arrival of Dajjal is nearer than we previously believed. It is clear that more than 23 Mini Dajjals have already emerged, bringing the threshold of 30 Mini Dajjals within reach. May Allah protect us from the trials of Mini Dajjals and the true Dajjal. Ameen. That concludes our discussion for today. We trust that you found today's video both informative and engaging. Please remember to like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. Until we meet again, Assalamu alaikum.